How 6 hidden minerals triple your harvest that fertilizer never provides. Hey there, my fellow plant lovers. Welcome back to Golden Garden, the little corner where soil, sunlight, and stories come alive. If you're someone who feels a spark of joy when a new leaf unfurls, who proudly checks your houseplants every morning like old friends, or who dreams of turning your small backyard into a lush green retreat, you're in the right place. I know how it feels to pour your heart into your garden, to water faithfully, to measure out expensive fertilizer and still watch your plants struggle. It can make you wonder if you're missing some secret that other gardeners know. But what if I told you the secret isn't above the ground at all? It's hidden deep within your soil, in the minerals your fertilizer never gives you. In today's story, we're uncovering 6 forgotten minerals that can triple your harvest and breathe new life into your plants. Whether they live in your living room or out in your garden, these aren't expensive chemicals or fancy gardening tricks. They're nature's own ingredients, quietly working beneath the surface to create the vibrant, thriving plants you've always dreamed of. So grab a cup of tea, settle among your plants, and get ready to see your garden in a completely new light. And before we dig in, make sure to subscribe to Golden Garden so you never miss another chance to grow wiser, greener, and more connected to the living world right outside your door. 1. The real secret beneath the soil. You know, most gardeners think of soil as just dirt, something that holds the roots in place while we focus on watering, light, and fertilizer. But after decades of working with gardens big and small, I've learned something that changed everything. Soil is alive. It breathes, it eats, it communicates. And when it's out of balance, your plants feel it, no matter how much care you give them. Think of your soil as a miniature world made of 4 invisible forces: structure, biology, chemistry, and physics. When one weakens, the others crumble. Maybe your soil is too compact for roots to breathe, or maybe the microbes that should be feeding your plants have died off from synthetic fertilizers. You might not see it, but your plants do. Through yellowing leaves, slow growth, and a harvest that feels half-hearted. Here's the truth the fertilizer industry doesn't tell you. Those bright NPK numbers on the bag, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, are only 3 pieces of a much bigger puzzle. There are 17 essential nutrients your plants need, and 6 of them are the quiet heroes that fertilizers almost never provide. These hidden minerals are the missing link between soil that simply supports plants and soil that nurtures them. Let's uncover them one by one and watch your garden come alive again. Biochar, the ancient secret that brings soil back to life. Imagine a tiny black sponge that never decays, one that breathes life back into tired soil. That's biochar, an ancient secret rediscovered by modern gardeners. Thousands of years ago, Amazonian farmers used a special carbon-rich soil called terra preta, still fertile even after 2 millennia. Its magic ingredient, biochar, a form of charcoal made by heating organic matter in low oxygen. At the microscopic level, biochar is full of countless pores, like tiny apartments for beneficial microbes. These invisible helpers break down organic matter, unlock nutrients, and keep your soil buzzing with life. 1 small handful of biochar has the surface area of 2 tennis courts, giving your soil a place to breathe, store water, and feed your plants for decades. When I first mixed biochar into my garden beds, it was like watching tired land wake up. The soil loosened, roots spread deeper, and plants grew greener than ever. And the best part? It's permanent. Once you add biochar, it stays working quietly year after year. So if your soil feels lifeless or compacted, this might be the moment to give it what it's been missing: a breath of ancient air. Because sometimes the best way to move forward in gardening is to look back at what nature already knew. Gypsum, the clay soil game changer. If you've ever tried to dig into your garden and felt like you were battling concrete, you probably know the frustration of clay soil. It cracks when dry, turns to sticky sludge when wet, and seems to choke every root you plant. I've been there, watching seedlings struggle to push through the heavy earth, wondering what could possibly set them free. The answer came in a simple, pale powder called gypsum. Gypsum works like a quiet sculptor beneath the surface. Its calcium ions gently separate the tiny clay particles, allowing air and water to move freely again. Suddenly, the soil that once suffocated roots becomes soft, crumbly, and alive. It's like giving your garden a deep breath after years of holding it in. What makes gypsum even more remarkable is its balance. It fixes structure without changing your soil's pH. So, while lime might make your soil too alkaline, gypsum offers healing without side effects. Within a few weeks, your shovel will glide through the earth like never before, and your roots will finally find room to stretch and grow. For gardeners trapped by heavy clay, this is liberation in a bag, a simple step that turns stubborn soil into fertile ground ready to welcome life again. Green sand ocean. Minerals that awaken tired soil. There's something poetic about feeding your garden with the memory of the ocean. Green sand, a mineral born from ancient seabeds, carries the quiet power of the sea into your soil. It's made of glauconite, rich in iron, magnesium, potassium, and over 30 trace elements that your plants crave but rarely receive. When I first discovered green sand, I was skeptical. It looked ordinary, a soft greenish powder that blended easily into the earth. But over time, I watched as dull, struggling leaves deepened into vibrant green and blooms began to last longer than ever before. It wasn't magic, it was balance. Green sand replenishes the micronutrients that fertilizers forget, restoring your soil's hidden chemistry. The beauty of green sand lies in its patience. It doesn't rush to release nutrients. It gives them slowly over seasons, building fertility that lasts for years. And when you combine it with biochar, the effect multiplies. The biochar shelters microbes that help unlock every mineral trapped inside. So if your plants seem tired, even after fertilizer and care, green sand might be the gentle ocean whisper they've been waiting for. A gift from the deep, teaching your garden that growth doesn't have to be fast to be powerful. Azomite, the volcanic dust that restores nature's balance, picture a volcano's heart, molten rock bursting with energy, cooling into ash that carries the memory of Earth's beginnings. That's azomite, a natural powder containing more than 70 trace minerals your plants silently long for. Where fertilizers offer a quick fix, azomite offers wholeness. It fills the invisible gaps that limit your garden's potential. When I first mixed azomite into my garden beds, I didn't expect much. But within weeks, the colors deepened. Greens turned richer, blossoms looked brighter, and even the vegetables tasted sweeter. That's what happens when plants finally receive what they've been missing. The tiny elements like boron, cobalt, and selenium that guide everything from seed development to nutrient absorption. Unlike synthetic additives, azomite doesn't force growth, it restores balance. It reminds your soil of its original song, a perfect harmony between minerals and life. And when combined with organic matter or compost, azomite's minerals release even faster, blending seamlessly into your soil's ecosystem. If your garden feels like it's missing something you can't quite name, azomite might be the answer. It's the Earth's way of giving back what time and farming have taken away, a handful of ancient volcanic dust that brings quiet strength back to every leaf and root. Worm castings, the living gold beneath our feet. Beneath every healthy garden, there's a quiet workforce. Earthworms, tirelessly transforming decay into life. Their humble gift to us is worm castings, often called black gold for good reason. At first glance, it's just dark, crumbly soil. But within each tiny grain lies a universe of life. Billions of beneficial microbes, enzymes, and natural growth hormones. When you add worm castings to your garden, you're not just feeding your plants, you're rebuilding an entire ecosystem. These castings release nutrients gently, never burning roots or upsetting pH balance. They awaken tired soil, boost root growth, and help plants defend themselves from disease. Every time I scatter them into my garden beds or mix them into my indoor pots, I imagine thousands of invisible allies going to work, repairing, nourishing, renewing. The beauty of worm castings is how forgiving they are. You can't overdo it. Even a small handful enriches the soil, and if you start your own worm bin, you can create a self-sustaining source forever. It's nature's recycling system, kitchen scraps transformed into thriving life. In every garden I've tended, worm castings have been the heartbeat, proof that when we care for the smallest creatures beneath us, they return the favor 1,000 times over. Rock phosphate, the slow power behind strong roots. If you've ever wondered why some gardens bloom effortlessly while others struggle to take hold, the secret often lies underground in the roots. And few minerals nurture roots quite like rock phosphate. Unlike synthetic fertilizers that flood plants with a burst of phosphorus only to fade, weeks later, rock phosphate works slowly, feeding your garden over years instead of days. When I first used it, I noticed something subtle yet profound. Not rapid growth, but resilience. My plants stood taller, their roots thicker and deeper, holding firm even through dry spells. Rock phosphate encourages strength from the inside out, teaching your plants to grow like trees, slow, steady, and unshakable. It's especially powerful when paired with compost or worm castings. The organic matter wakes up the soil microbes that unlock phosphorus, turning it into food your roots can actually use. Together, they create a slow symphony of growth beneath the surface, unseen but unmistakable. So while the world rushes for fast results, rock phosphate reminds us of a deeper truth. In gardening, patience is power. Growth that takes time lasts longer, and the roots that dig deep today will feed tomorrow's harvest with quiet strength. When the six work together, the hidden symphony beneath your garden, each of these minerals plays its own melody, but when they come together, something extraordinary happens. Your soil begins to sing. Biochar builds the framework, giving your microbes a place to live. Gypsum opens the pathways for air and water to flow freely. Green sand and azomite fill the soil with life-giving minerals, restoring the forgotten notes of nature's balance. Worm castings breathe in biology, keeping everything alive and connected, while rock phosphate anchors it all with deep, steady strength. When these six join forces, the transformation is almost poetic. The soil softens beneath your fingers, moisture lingers longer, and plants seem to glow from the inside out. It's not a quick fix or a passing miracle. It's a living system rebuilding itself, season after season. For new gardeners, it might sound overwhelming, but you don't need to do everything at once. Start small. Listen to your soil. If it's hard and lifeless, begin with biochar or gypsum. If your leaves are pale, try azomite or green sand. Each step you take brings your garden closer to harmony. Because in the end, it's not about feeding your plants, it's about nurturing the world beneath them. When you heal the soil, everything else follows. The mindset shift from feeding plants to building life. For years, many of us believed gardening was about feeding our plants, adding more fertilizer, watering more often, doing more. But over time, I realized that the most beautiful gardens don't come from doing more. They come from doing right. The real secret is not feeding plants, but building life beneath them. When you start to see your soil as a living community instead of a pile of dirt, everything changes. You stop asking, "What do my plants need today?" and start asking, "What does my soil need to thrive forever?" That's when growth becomes effortless. Roots explore deeper, leaves shine brighter. The garden starts taking care of itself because the life beneath the surface finally feels whole again. This mindset shift frees you from endless cycles of buying, fixing, and worrying. You become a steward, not just a gardener. Someone who listens to the quiet messages of the earth and responds with patience instead of panic. And here's the truth I wish every grower knew. When you nurture the unseen, you awaken the extraordinary. You're not just growing food or flowers, you're cultivating resilience, harmony, and a deeper connection with nature itself. The living legacy beneath your hands, so now you know the quiet truth. 6 hidden minerals that don't just grow plants, but revive the earth itself. Biochar, gypsum, green sand, azomite, worm castings, and rock phosphate, each one a humble gift from nature, yet together they create something powerful, a garden that renews itself year after year. Every time you mix them into your soil, you're not just improving your harvest, you're rebuilding a living system that will nourish life long after this season ends. The colors grow deeper, the roots stronger, the air around your garden somehow feels calmer, more alive. And when that first blossom opens or that tomato ripens in your hand, you'll know it wasn't luck. It was the soil finally singing again. This journey is more than gardening. It's a partnership with the earth, a reminder that even in small backyards or balconies, we hold the power to restore balance. So go ahead, touch the soil, breathe in that earthy scent, and remember, every handful holds a future waiting to grow. If this story inspired you, I'd love to hear from you. Tell me in the comments, which of these minerals will you try first in your garden? And don't forget to subscribe to Golden Garden for more soulful, science-backed stories that help you grow greener, wiser, and closer to the living world beneath your hands.